Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thanks for watching today. And I wanted to show you what came in the mail. I'm so excited. Okay, so subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching. And I've been a huge fan of Tati since before her first million. If you are not familiar with Tati Westbrook, I will leave Tati's YouTube channel linked below. She is amazing, creative, but she wears makeup the way I want to wear makeup. She's not a 20-something. She's not doing really heavy graphic liner. She doesn't play with a lot of color. She does. She kind of pushes herself, but she doesn't make it to the point where it's like, well, I can't do that. She makes it really accessible, but glamorous. And there have been so many times that I've watched one of her videos where she says, this is amazing, and I run out and I buy it. So I was so excited when Tati finally launched Tati Beauty. I love the idea of this naturally nude sort of palette, and I can't wait to dive into it. All right, so let me get it out of the, this is interesting. I know she's really trying to be concerned about the environment, and I applaud that. I really do. Is there any, I see some plastic down here, but I wonder if there's actually any, I just continue to unwrap. Any, there's no bubble wrap. This whole thing came in just this, just like sheets and sheets and sheets of this. I hope it's okay. There's a little plastic bag on the outside, and then right here, the sleeve, and then the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. And everything arrived perfect. So hooray for alternative items to ship things in that aren't plastic. Well, I guess there was one little piece of plastic in here, but it's so recyclable and I love that. Let's just take a quick look at this gorgeousness. Oh, hello, beautiful. Ooh, these glitters. All right. I feel like we can't get to this point without talking about it. I'm gonna move all of this. Give me a sec. I'm super excited just to play with the colors in here today, but the first thing I wanted to address was the fact, and she even mentioned it in her video, is that there are glitters in here, the top row, that are not eye safe. And the company who was, you know, her lab and all of that was Seed Beauty. Seed Beauty also owns and runs Colourpop. And for a long time, people have been complaining, like this right here is one of Colourpop's pressed glitters. I have a couple of other palettes with some pressed glitters in them. And I started thinking about that. There's one right here, and it's beautiful. The first palette that I got my hands on from Colourpop that had pressed glitters was this one right here. This was the Sweet Talk palette, and this was their spring release. I loved it, and I didn't know at the time that the pressed glitters were not eye safe, so I put them on and I loved it. I love the look of glitter on the eye, but I tend not to use an actual pressed glitter, but I feel kind of like, you know what? There's a whole row of them, and they're beautiful. And when I used pressed glitters in this palette before I knew they weren't safe for the eye, I was fine. Okay, so there is right now this kind of argument going on inside of me. If it's not eye safe, why is it in an eyeshadow palette? And then I've used it in this before and I love it. I've actually used these glitters several times. And then when I realized that all of the Colourpop glitters were not eye safe, I kind of stopped using them on the eye. There are also a couple in the Kathleen Lights So Jaded. I love the way that these pressed glitters look. Now there's an entire row and they're so much larger in Tati's. I feel kind of like it would be wrong to not use them. So maybe I've changed my opinion. Maybe I just need to be more concerned about how carefully I place and how I don't let it go everywhere else. I feel like there are swatches everywhere. Should we swatch? I don't know if we should swatch these. I feel like it's like a little choir of baby angels. Ah, you know, just that whole beautiful. I love it. I can't help myself. I know that swatching them in columns makes a lot of sense, like Poet, Aura, Soothe, Story, Ritual. But part of me just wants to put my finger straight in the glitters. I think I'm going to. Ooh, they're really interesting. They don't actually... There's a lot of movement to these glitters. Look at that. We're just going to swatch the glitters. Oh my goodness. They are just so absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see all 6 of them. They are magical and they kind of run together. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I don't have a lot left over on my fingers. I did have a little. I wiped it off on a towel here, but I'm surprised at how little I have on here. But every other time I put on glitter, I always end up with like little rogue pieces of glitter that even cling to my skin after having wiped it off on something else. But amazing, amazing. Okay, let's keep going. The next row are the metallics. Ooh, these feel buttery. They feel different. So our second row is right here. These are all the metallics. Now, they're very shiny, very pretty, but I don't know that it's fair to show them right next to the glitters because the glitters just kapow. I want to really dive into these sequin shades today because these look like something I've not played with before. They look so interesting on the finger. So right here, and it's in an awkward spot, these are all the sequin shades right here. They go all the way across. They kind of go down like the grays, the more coppers and oranges, the more bone shades, and this kind of pinky purple. They're very interesting. Last row, the mattes. Okay, and the mattes, oh, I didn't swatch these very well, but we start here with the darker colors and go all the way in here. I feel like I'm trying to twist my arm for you, and pow! But they're really beautiful. I think it's going to be easiest if I go wash my hands, we come back and we play. The one thing I will tell you is that in swatching this, I did get, these mattes are very soft. They are very soft. They're a little powdery, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It just means that you're not going to need a lot of product to get the look you're going for. There are a couple of columns in this entire palette that have been calling my name. One of them is Aura. The other one is Soothe and Ritual. These are the 3, like the darker browns, the kind of camely browns, and then the beiges. That's what my neutral heart loves. I will put in some other colors, but I would be happy just playing in those 3 columns like forever. But I am going to start with Aura. Aura is the lightest row in this entire palette. I'm going to pick up the matte on a brush, and I'm just going to put this all over the, wow, that's pigmented. So I have a little bit of concealer down, and then on top of that I have some of my finishing face powder, and this just like blanked out my entire lid. I love this shade. I feel like this is a shade that I could go through really quickly. I'm gonna go for this right here. This is the matte in the Soothe column. It's kind of like a mid-toned camely brown. I mean, it picks up a lot. I feel like if I don't knock it off, we could be in trouble here. And I'm just gonna very lightly tap this in my crease. I wanna take the sequin shade in Soothe and just see if I can pull it across the, oh wow, that's a lot. I'm trying to lay it down so you can still see the sparkle in it. I wish I'd put something down for fallout. I just didn't think I was gonna have that much. Oh, it's pigmented. Even the fallout is pigmented. Now that I've got a little powder under here, I don't know if you're seeing this. This is a weird bruise. It's where I had my IV in a couple of days ago when I was having my latest surgery. By the way, everything's fine. I just needed to get the stent removed that they put in to help all the bile drain out of my liver because I had some complications with my gallbladder surgery. So if you're seeing this, it's not a makeup smudge, it's a bruise. All right, so I just used my finger and this sequin shade right here on the eye. And I like the way that it looks when you kind of press it in because you do get some of that gold glitter. And it's really, really pretty. but I feel like I need to maybe blend just a little bit of this here up into the crease so it's not quite so stark. One of the things that I love that Tati does that I used to do a long time ago is apply eyeshadow with my fingers. She does that all the time. Then I started using brushes and I started thinking that, you know, expensive brushes or different brushes would be better. And I love that I feel like it's okay to use my fingers again, because for the longest time I used to apply all of my eyeshadow with my fingers. I'm not as good as I used to be, but just give me some time. I want to bring in some of the shade Ritual right here, which is this darkest brown. I'm going to use that just in the outer portion of my eye, a very little bit of it. And we're just going to intensify it right out here. I'm popping back in just a little bit to soothe, to blend out these edges. I feel like I might have taken it just a little higher than I wanted. This is what happens when I'm like, more, more, more. I'm going to use a little bit of that camely brown on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to pull in some of the darkest brown in Ritual and just kind of intensify like right out here on the outer corner. I'm going to take some of the lightest shade in here in Aura and just hit it right under the arch of the brow. See if I can blend right underneath my eyebrow with this. I also want to use the lightest metallic in here, the metallic and Aura in the inner corner. Oh my goodness, do you see that? That is beautiful. I feel like it's definitely time to dust away our powder. I want to use some of the glitters today. I think I'm going to use a combination of this shade right here, which is Ritual, and a little bit of Soothe. They're very similar in tone. I'm going to put Ritual right out here on the on the outside edge. I don't want to get it too high. And then some of this. See if we can blend these two together. I don't need a lot. These are very, they feel a little oily almost, but I'm sure that's the binder that's helping them stick, because I don't have a single piece of glitter anywhere but on my lid right now. Let's see if we can keep it that way. Okay, so I do have a few pieces of misplaced glitter. I'm going to use a stiff brush and kind of just flick them off. That's what I like to do. Ooh, I even have some on my lashes. So if I feel like I get it too high, I just go right along the edge and flick off what I'm not wanting. I feel like that's the easiest way. Oh, I even have some in my hair. Well, I'll be wearing glitter everywhere today. I finally finished playing with the palette. I got the rest of my face on. I really like it. I really like it a lot. Now, I know, here's when I tell you, you already know I love Tati. You know I love her aesthetic. You know that I am one of those, when she says it's great, I purchase if it's something that's of interest to me as well. So I'm not surprised that I like this palette. Let me tell you what surprised me about it. First of all, I feel like the palette itself, it's very nice. It's got a soft touch to it. It's got kind of like this slightly embossed feel here on the front. The mirror is fantastic because it's massive, and I love that. I also love that it folds back. So if I want to just hold it like this in my hand while I'm playing, I can. And it's very easy, and it's not difficult to hold it like this so that I can pick what I want and put my face on at the same time. Very, very easy. And I think I have a stray cat hair. I thought it would be glitter, but it's a cat hair. I will tell you, I do have like little teeny tiny, not giant chunks or flakes, but little teeny tiny specks of glitter here and there. I'm not surprised by that at all. I wish, and I only used 2 of the sequin shades, and I used these 2 right here. And I was hoping, if you can see, there's a little bit of shimmer in these, and they're really beautiful. I wish they showed up a little easier on the eye. I didn't feel, and from Tati's video, she said, you know, pressing them in with the eye instead of swiping or using a brush, which would disturb the glitter more. I didn't see as much of it as I wanted. I'm sure you'd see more if you were using some of these darker shades over here, or this kind of purpley pink shade. But these two very neutral soft shades, because I am fair, those are the ones I would naturally gravitate towards. I didn't see as much of that sequin finish in them. Now, it's there, but it wasn't as obvious as I was hoping it would be on my eyes just by patting it in. I only used one of the metallics, this one right here, and it's like on fire in my inner corner. I absolutely love it. I feel like I could put more, maybe I will put just a little more on. I feel like it's one of those that, because it's the lightest shade in here and it's very champagne-y, it's just like, boom, hello. But I'm sure that the rest of the formulas are going to perform great metallics. I just couldn't keep my fingers out of the glitters. I couldn't. And the one thing I know that they're listed as not eye safe. And Tati said that in her video, and part of me was crushed and the other part of me was still pretty, beautiful, must play. And the truth is, I feel like all the glitters that I've tried from Colourpop, because I have worn some of them on my eyes, they stay really well. I have a feeling that these are going to perform pretty well, because the ones that I have from Colourpop, and Tati Beauty also makes Colourpop, they don't go that far. I mean, you get some fallout throughout the day. The other thing that I'm noticing is I do have some, I tried to keep it right on the lid, right below the crease, but because my eyes open up, I see the glitter transferring a little higher than I would have wanted it. I don't hate that. I think that's just the nature of how things go. I do have a few pieces here and there, but it blends in pretty nicely with my highlight. The mattes super impressed me. They are very pigmented. Even this shade Aura right here that looks kind of like a bone white, it is pigmented. I have a lot of veins on my lids and I had already put down some concealer and powder, but putting this Aura shade over the top completely blanked it out. It was remarkable. So I feel like the mattes in here are absolutely stunning. I like the sequin shades. I love the metallics. And these glitters are just like, they're the icing on the cake. So I think it's one of those things that if you get this, you're going to have to decide for yourself, is it worth it? Will I use enough of the shades in there? I think that for a neutrals palette, it hits all the right places. And I feel like it has enough shades in here that people from fairest even down to dark skin can wear this. I don't feel like this leaves anybody out. I think it's more of am I a colorful person or am I a neutrals person? And I know she's got plans to come out with more, but I feel like this is a very beautifully well done basic neutral palette. I think the formulas are nice. I don't know that I'll be using the glitters every time I open this palette, but I do love the look of them right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just in love. The price of this at $48, I feel like you get a lot. It has a nice heft to it. And each of these glitters is 3/4 of a gram. You get 6 of those at 0.75. And then each of these are a gram each. There's a lot of product in here. A lot of product. And I feel like for the price, $48, it's fantastic. It's also so versatile. You could do a dark smoky eye. You could do a warm eye. You could do something a little bit more colorful. And then you have everything else in the middle to play with. And I feel like if I were to go traveling, I could take just this and I wouldn't need to take something colorful because the variety of finishes in here would give me that extra something that I would want to kind of zhuzh my eye look up with. If I wanted something a little bit more interesting, something a little bit different. I feel like the finishes and the varieties of finishes that I have in here could let me do that, and I wouldn't need necessarily to use color in that way. Because sometimes I'll use a brighter color, maybe along the lash line or someplace else to kind of bring interest to the eye. I feel like just the finishes here in this palette are what bring that interest to the eye. I love this. Now I know it's sold out at the moment. If you didn't get one, I'm so sorry. But I feel like price-wise, you're getting a lot for what you're spending. I love the way that it was packaged. I love that there was almost no plastic. The only plastic there was this. Every palette was put inside of that and then wrapped up in paper. I feel like I just needs like a round of applause. I know Tati is very concerned about the environment, about making sure things are recyclable, about making sure that we're not putting excess waste out there. And I feel like she's done a great job of paring down. And I love this palette. I am going to be keeping an eye out to see what else there is from Tati Beauty, because I feel like her aesthetic really leans the same direction mine does. I'm probably a solid decade older than her. I'm in a different stage of my life because I have, kids who are in elementary and middle school, but I still love makeup with a deep passion just like she does. And she's so much fun to watch, and I'm so excited and happy for her that she finally has launched her own makeup brand. I know Halo's been doing great for her, but this, I can see a lot of time and effort went into this, and a lot of her specificity is showing by just the way the formulations are so different, and they're so good. So if it comes back available for sale, I should say when it comes back available for sale, I would recommend it if you want a good neutrals palette. I feel like there's enough variety here, and there's enough stuff with 24 shades. You can basically do anything you want. Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know if you picked up this new palette from Tati Beauty, if you have any thoughts on it, if you are excited about the fact that another influencer has started their own makeup brand. I'm very curious to know what your thoughts are. Or maybe this is just not your cup of tea and you're not interested. Maybe you like more colorful things and there was too much neutral in here. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you again soon.